Great. So, between the time that I made that intro to now, it's been like a week. And, well, for one, I can't remember what I said in it. Which, I mean, like, could have happened within 5 minutes of making the video. But also, like, part of the reason why it took me so long to sit down here and do these readings is because I don't know if it's like the Taurus sun in me, if it's my Virgo moon, blah, 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 I don't know. But it's like, I felt like I wanted to have something more prepared, and I get stuck and hung up on these, like, wanting something to be perfect, which it never is. And it's just almost like an excuse, right? So I don't know. Why am I talking about this? I don't know. Maybe you needed to hear it too, that if you are delaying doing something, other light. If you're delaying doing something, if you're waiting for the perfect time for something, there's no such thing. There just isn't. And, like, we start kind of like amping up on the anxiety around it too, right? Because then I started feeling anxious, like, oh my gosh, like looking at the date, oh my gosh, like when was the last time I put out videos, blah, 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 and then for me, I just kind of shut down, which isn't good. That's not helpful for anybody. It doesn't make the anxiety go away. And that anxiety comes from knowing that I wanted to sit down here and I wanted to put out a message to you guys. I wanted to, get some readings out there again. And the fact that I wasn't doing it was what was causing the anxiety. And the reason why I wasn't doing it is because I wanted to have something else that either added value to the reading or whatever, which is really kind of interesting because Venus just went retrograde right on Sunday. And that's the second house for me, which is about worthiness, value, right? And here I am going on and on about wanting something, whatever it is, to be perfect. And also the main message behind that being showing up exactly where you are and with exactly whatever tools that you have right now to do the thing. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this into the intro video. So you won't even see the one that I was talking about that I just did a week ago because that has nothing now. I realized that last month I didn't get around to doing human design profile readings, and I do want to do those still. I'm like teetering between, wanting to make those the priority and the zodiac signs secondary, or, kind of keep, because there's tons of videos from YouTube creators about zodiac signs. I haven't seen a single one about human design profiles or really anything else. And I think it's cool because it's just a different avenue to receive a message, like any zodiac sign could be a 1-3 profile or a 2-5 profile or whatever, right? So I think I just answered my own question, and I think I'm going to, for the time being, I'm going to lead with the human design profile readings. And if I get around to doing zodiac readings in a month, then great. If not, it is what it is for the time being. I'm a manifesting generator, 5-1, emotional authority, and true to manifesting generator form. I have a million things going on, which is kind of why, like, my time is all of a sudden limited, and I am struggling to get all 24 videos out in a month. So that's okay because, it's energy, right? And for right now, for whatever reason, I have a limited availability of time, but also energy. I'm sacral, but that doesn't mean that I just, I I have endless amount of energy. So, we still need to be taking care of our sacral and giving it rest. But like I said, I have a ton of stuff going on. And at some point, the energy is going to shift. And at some point, I will be able to put 24 videos out again. And, it really goes into trust. That's a big thing with human design too. The major thing is deconditioning the ways that we were structured to live our lives. And most of that is not listening to our own inner wisdom and guidance. And, that's where the strategy and authority comes from. So without any further delay, because I could keep going on, and I probably will in the videos. But again, I'm going to lead with the human design profile readings. I am not going to worry about, I like to have some sort of content that goes over each profile, just to give you, like a different perspective from somebody else and their understanding of what the profile says. I have some stuff buried in my phone, but I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go search for it this time. So going forward, I'll the next time we do these readings, I'll have some sort of content. But for now, we're just going to, treat it in some kind of way. Okay, so we're gonna start with the 1-3 profile, the investigator martyr. That investigator line is all about investigation. It's like the thing that I realized about the 1-3s that I know is like you really can't tell them shit. And I think part of that comes from the first line, because I'm a 5-1, so I have that first line. And you also can't tell me anything. I mean, you can if I'm asking, but if I'm not, or like if I'm being corrected or what I perceive to be corrected, I get pissed. And if I'm wrong, I'm mad, but I'm not mad at the other person. If there's somebody else involved in the wrongness, I'm mad that I'm wrong and my information wasn't correct. So yeah, that first line is it's like that endless student, or whatever that's called, like a career, student, not necessarily like with school, but first lines, like they have to do their own research to feel secure in their knowledge and understanding of a thing. Like I think first lines lead with insecurity in a certain capacity, just because if they don't know, like they want to be an expert in a subject before they actually start like talking about it and sharing. But again, even, like what I was saying in the intro, like sometimes it's really just kind of showing up with exactly where you are right now and allowing more lessons to show up as need be. And then that third line, the martyr line, is about trial and error. So you take the information that you learned, researched, discovered, whatever, with your first line, and then you put it into practice. Does it work or not? And you are going to figure out all of the ways in which something doesn't work. There's a lot of making and breaking bonds. There's a lot of bumping up against experiences. But that is exactly what that third line is there for. There's a lot of wisdom in the third line because, again, you know what does not work so that you can speak to what does. Let's get you an oracle deck. And then, of course, you have your type, your strategy and authority. Your strategy and authority is what helps you enter into quote unquote correct experiences, whether they make sense to you or not, and then your profile is how you interact with those experiences. So many layers. We have desert pass. Where can I put that? Desert passage. Trust there is a divine plan. It's kind of like I just got this feeling of coming through something, right? So it looks like they're coming out of this cove or mountain or something, and then seeing this path. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like you've come a long way, but there's still a ways to go. And that's where that trust comes into play. Trust there's a divine plan. There's also, like, I just kind of got this message about there's also a lot of possibility. There's a lot of opportunity for good things to happen along the path. Like, because it almost kind of looks like this is bare, right? I mean, there's no trees, there's nothing. So it feels like a blank canvas. So even if the road does, like if you're looking ahead, and even if the road does still feel long, right? It's like, just trust that, of course, I mean, the card says there is a divine plan, but also allow for there to be surprises along the way. I thought there was a card that... So we have Judgment, which is beautiful. Talk about transformation. We have the Eight of Pentacles. It could be a change in your work or what you do for work, how you work it. Queen of Cups. Getting in touch with your feelings, how you feel about a thing, getting clear. Six of Pentacles. It's interesting how, well, before I even say that, let's get all the rest of the cards out here. That's too many. We only need 2, and that was like 5. A little too many. I would have probably taken 3, but not 5. We have the Knight of Wands and the Unknown card, and then the Magician at the bottom of the deck. Beautiful. Let me just make sure all the cards are in frame here. Okay, that looks good. So, like I said, Judgment is all about transformation. It's interesting because it's the card that comes before the World card, so it is at the end of a journey. This person seems to be in the middle of it. I mean, this doesn't seem to be the beginning, at least. It's certainly not the end either. But Judgment comes more towards the end of the journey. So this could even just be the last leg of the journey in this desert passage here. But when the Judgment card shows up, it says that, every experience, lesson, everything that you've gone through, starting from the Fool card, because this, it's the journey of the Fool. It's taking all of that and it's recognizing how it has shaped you, how it has changed you. There even could be a little space available for it to transform you in some capacity. It's also, I mean, just look at the difference between, this desert passage where, like I was saying, there's not really anything out there. And then in this card, there's these calla lilies here, and this person is playing their flute. For them, I mean, this could even be, of course, what you are going to experience as part of this journey. So it's almost like that confirmation. And sometimes, of course, right? Like, we focus so much on the destination that we don't really consider the journey. Like we're looking so far ahead and that's also too like where that anxiety can come from. I think I was talking about anxiety in the intro, but if you've ever seen that meme, or it says if you are living in fear, then you're living in the past. If you are anxious, you're living in the future. And if you are like neutral or calm, then you're living in the present. Because all that we really have is like literally right here, right now, what we're doing. And then with it paired with the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles is about charity, sharing. It's like it's an energy exchange, but it's an equal energy exchange. And especially it's a physical energy exchange with it being pentacles. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it, how we invest it. It's our physical body. It's our physical time. What are we spending our physical time doing? And with the Six of Pentacles, we could see these birds that are helping them pick these grapes off. So there is some sort of assistance here. This could be a mentor. There could be somebody that is helping you on this path. And like I said, this is reciprocal. So it's like whatever you are giving, the situation, the project, the job, the person, you would be needing to receive the same amount of reciprocal energy in return for it. There's usually no strings attached with the Six of Pentacles. And then, like I said, with the Eight of Pentacles, it is about work, how you do it, what you are doing for work. It's about your craft, right? Like it is that consistency, putting enough time, energy, resources into a thing in order to get good at it. This feels a bit like Cinderella-y to me. And I think it's just because her dress looks a little drab and she's sitting at this yarn bat, I think is what that is, outside. I don't know. It feels very like Cinderella. This could be a fairy godmother here, the Six of Pentacles. I mean, Judgment. This right here could be a fairy godmother, and I mean, that could show up literally in any type of way. There could be something with the Six of Pentacles that is going to change your life. And, I mean, that can be also on a spectrum. It could just be, so I read these every once in a while on my Instagram channel, on my Instagram page. I use these universe notes from the universe cards. And there's this one that always tends to show up, and I thought it was going to be at, let me see. Here it is. It's right at the top. Because this is kind of like what I was trying to get at. So let me read this. It says, the speed with which any dream may be realized is always a function of how small the miracles have to be in order not to freak out the dreamer. It's odd, though, given that there are only miracles, that some are more accepted than others. So that's the thing, right? Like literally human life, consciousness, it's a miracle that it happened that way, that mutation happened that way, right? I mean, like every single day, every single thing on this planet is a miracle. But, we do place more worthiness or weight onto something magnificent versus, just having enough gas to get to work, or making every green light to where you're not late again, or you know what I mean? Like those things are like little miracles too. So this right here, whatever it is though, it would be just enough to change something for you. And it is because you are on this path. And then even with the Knight of Wands, it's interesting because the Knight of Wands is the only male presenting character besides, of course, the person that's on this desert passage. Although, I mean, we can't even really tell if this is male or female. So, that's up for interpretation. I just kind of get a male vibe from it, but we don't know. This is the only card besides a Magician that is male presenting. So it could be a man. It doesn't have to be. And this doesn't even have to be like relationship wise either. Like nothing necessarily out here is like really very relationship heavy. And if you've been on my channel before, I don't tend to like do relationship readings because my focus is on you. And what I was going to say while I was shuffling them is that it was interesting that there's only one person on every single one of these cards. So it is very like focused on you. Even this card, there's one person. So this is very, like the spotlight is on you right now. And the Knight of Wands is, adventurous, enthusiastic, it's fire. So they might be a bit quicker to make decisions or initiate something. I mean, the Knight of Wands can be a bit of a playboy too. Like, it's kind of like a match. Like you light it, but it only lasts for so long. But also it's like that could be the exact amount of spark that you needed to get something going though. It could even just be somebody being excited about this craft, like being recognized, having something to respond to, initiating, like it could just be enough to get something going. This could even be a message that comes in from somebody, like it could be in regards to a job. It could be out of the blue. I don't know. Like I'm staring at this card and I'm just kind of getting this feeling of it just showing up. And then we have the Queen of Cups. Cups having to do with our emotions. It's our heart chakra, love. Like what is our relationship to love? How do we give ourselves love truly? Because that affects how we give love to other people. Queens are all about how we embody the energy of the suit ourselves. We have to recognize the energy and almost like kind of master it within ourselves before we can move on to the king. Because once we move on to the king, then it's about sharing with other people and being, a guide or a teacher or whatever. So, you could be working on your connection to your intuition. This could even be your connection to your strategy and authority, since we're talking human design here. It's also like following what makes you feel good, what fills your cup. Because it's also too, like we go from her being the one that's doing the work to being the one that's sitting on a throne. So again, there's this like recognition thing that's happening here that is going to put you more in a position of authority in some capacity. And then the Unknown card, I love this, especially with it being at the end. This is like the Moon card on steroids. We have the moon back there anyway, but it really is like the sky is the limit, right? Like it's also kind of the point of what's next isn't necessarily the point, but right now, and like I was saying, the focus is on you. And it's also, like I was saying at the beginning, how you're not at the beginning of this journey, you're more in the middle, but this could even just be the last leg. Like whatever it is, it's like you're not quite there yet, but whatever is happening in here for you, it is creating more opportunity, more expansion, more possibility. And it's also not even the point right now. Focusing on what's, like taking one step at a time is. And then I love that we have the Magician at the bottom of the deck, and especially coming after the Unknown card, because this is a card that comes after the Fool. So you've already taken that leap of faith with the Fool. This is, recognizing that you have the skills, the tools, the resources, the emotion, the passion and creativity. You have everything that you need to get going, to manifest the thing into a reality. Even if you feel like you don't have something, because like I was saying in the intro, right? Like I get stuck in this, like, well, if I had, or if there was, or whatever, the excuses in my head. No, like I have exactly what I needed to get started right now. And whatever else you need will show up exactly when you need it. I always think of Harry Potter with the magician. And if you've seen those movies, which I hope you have, but the Sword of Gryffindor shows up to exactly who needs it at exactly the time that they need it, right? But they didn't have that a couple seconds before. It just showed up for them, right? It shows up, they do what they need to do with it, and then it's gone. That's what the Magician card is. So don't worry about it. Whatever you need will show up exactly when you need it. We have the 10 of Wands, which is the end of a burden, especially with it. You know, we have the 9 of Swords underneath it. You know, a lot of mental stuff, the 8 of Swords, the 5 of Swords. This is exactly why this unknown card showed up at the bottom of the deck, because if you continue or try to think past this Queen of Cups, or to think past this unknown card, and, you know, think of all the possibilities and all of the ways, then you're going to feel overwhelmed. Then, you know, you get all this like mental gymnastics stuff that's happening. You feel trapped. It's not possible. I can't do it. Blah, blah, blah. The 5 of Swords, it's like a game of wits at that point. It's almost like you're battling yourself. Like, no, don't do that to yourself. Don't be me. But seriously, like, whatever you are doing right now, keep doing that. And again, you know, like, if you do find yourself kind of in that mode of, you know, your brain is just going, bring yourself back to trust. Just say to yourself, I trust that there is a divine plan. I trust that things will unfold for me exactly as they need to unfold for me. I'm open to miracles, big and small. And I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.